Let's do it.
All right. We are broadcasting, so people will start coming on.
All right. Just get
Hi,
my mannequin ready.
Sure. Hi, Allison, Emily, Kelsey, Natalia, Rachel's back. Tiffany's here. Tessa, Rebecca, Francis, Brooke, Ashley. I'm not going to name everybody because now there's tons
Nice
of
to
people.
see that people are coming on, right?
Yeah, we're over 30. So
have they made any comments yet on Post Malone?
I don't. Hey, let me actually. There's some in the chat, so I need to look. No, that's Rachel just saying hello. She said she just noticed Post Malone.
This is pre all his tattoos except for these two.
Yeah.
Well, I had to cut his barbed wire tattoo out.
I just watched a movie on Netflix with what's his name from Boston, the actor. Oh man,
Boston,
the rapper.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I just watched a movie with Mark Wahlberg where he's in prison and Post Malone's in there with him, dude. It was great.
Oh
Post
yes,
Malone.
I saw that.
He has like a little part, but it's hilarious. It's great.
Yeah, it was good. He plays a bad guy.
He does, well,
obviously.
kind of, yeah, kind of. I mean,
he's yeah, man, that was pretty good. I saw that. Netflix, right?
Yeah. Look, everybody knows the movie. Spencer Confidential. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I saw it like 2 weeks ago.
All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. Welcome back to another version or edition of Virtual Education with Sharkfin Shears. Today we have the amazing, the talented Tommy Cole with us. Tommy and I met some years ago when we crossed paths with another company at the bar, so to speak, I guess, really more than anything.
Yeah.
My club soda, his Red Bull, whatever. So today we had a little something special lined up, and
you froze up on me.
You're back.
Okay, good.
Today we had like a men's shag haircut and some color lined up, and unfortunately Tommy didn't get the male mannequin we sent. So we're just making the best with what we have. So Post Malone has joined us today for a haircut, right?
That's right, man. Came all the way from, I don't know where he's from, but
I couldn't tell you. I want to know what you're charging him when we're done, though.
Yeah, man. Sure. Absolutely. It's undisclosed, but I'll let you know later.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So we're still going to rock out a shag haircut. Tommy has done some pre-color. He's going to go over that technique with you. I'm going to be here behind the scenes. I'll launch the polls. Please, if you have questions, ask. Right? We have people in here that maybe 3 days into school, or we may have someone on here that's been doing hair for 30 years. So we're going to do the best we can,
Awesome.
But you guys really are going to have the flow of this. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. Tommy, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Very welcome, man.
Do your thing, homie.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you all for joining. My name is Tommy Cole. I'm a national educator for Aloxi International. I've been a fan of Sharkfin Shears. I got my 7-inch pros right here for many, many years now. And I wanted to do something kind of cool, kind of off the cuff, a little fun. I get inspired mostly by, I'm a musician at heart since I was a kid. So always inspired by music, especially the rock stars, right? So I always see these cool shaggy haircuts, and it goes from the rockers to the, any type of male celebrities to like guys that are in extreme sports. They wear these shaggy haircuts, and some of them do some pretty cool color. So what I wanted to do today on Mr. Post Malone today, I just want to show you, I have this technique where, I'm sure some of you have seen a halo technique. And if you don't know what that is, as far as coloring is concerned, we take the perimeter of the hair, okay? So let me show you, just like an inch away from the hairline, and we comb all the hair that's not going to be colored. And I'm going to show you a little better here. And we put it all into a ponytail back here, right? We clip it back. So really, you're just working with the perimeter. And I was talking to Will before because I pre-lightened this mannequin using 40 volume and blue lightener from Aloxi. And what I did was I pre-lightened it and then used a color conditioner that we have in Aloxi called InstaBoost. And it's called Fireball. So it's super red. And I think on here you can't really see it, but we're going to do a post picture on shark fin later on. So
Yes.
look out for that. Hopefully
Cool.
right after this, I'll style it the way I think it should look. Mr. Post Malone, look, he looks actually pretty cool right now. This is funny. And we'll get it to you, all right? But what I did was I went in about a ½ inch, okay? I'm just going to show you what I did here. A ½ inch, and I sliced, okay? I took a slice of hair. Let me clip this. Took a slice of hair, and this is what got foiled, okay? Then I went back a little further, and I took another slice. Left a little hair in between those two foils. So basically, hairline in front of the ear to the temple. I did 1/4 inch slice, moved that out of the way, sliced behind it, foiled it. Dropped that, sliced again, left that hair on top of the foil, sliced again, and foiled that. So you had 2 foils here, 2 foils in the center, and 2 foils here. So you create this really cool halo effect because the hair is going to fall in his face. Think about like the guys playing guitar and stuff, or sports guys moving around, skiing, or doing, you know, surfing, snowboarding, that kind of stuff. The hair's all over the place, slick back. The hair gets wet. It's that cool kind of I don't give a crap kind of look, right? But the hair has some, you know, there's a way to get that. You know, either you grow your hair out from being short, and then at some point these guys have to get their hair cut. But for the most part, when it gets to a length that they like, they want to get it trimmed. So let's get into the haircut real quick. The haircut is based, you know, because we want to keep it strong and masculine, okay? Even though it is kind of androgynous. So it's kind of like got a little femininity to it. You can make it more soft to make it look more feminine. You could do this haircut on a female also that, you know, you round out your corners a little bit and it would be a little more appropriate for that client, right? That female client. But for the guys, we're going to square it out a little bit, all right? And this is how we do it. First step, we're going to look at Post Malone's eyebrows, and we're going to take a section, and I'm going to do that for you. We're going to take a horseshoe section, and when we get to the back of it, the horseshoe is going to drop a little bit, okay? And I'm going to show you that right now, okay? I'm going to do it from the front, and usually what I like to do is grab a clip this out of the way. Sorry, there's a phone message coming in. And with my thumb, can you see that? And the spine of the comb, right
Yes.
at the corner where
Yes.
that first, can you see me?
Yes.
All right. So we're going around this way. And make sure you have some clips handy because we're going to just get that hair out of the way, okay? Let's get that out of the way. You see how it's dropping right there? And now we're going to take your pointer finger and go back and connect those pieces. Everybody got that? Good. Will,
So
any questions? Yeah.
you're not necessarily looking at the parietal or the round of the head, correct?
Say that again.
What are you basing your sectioning off of? The parietal, the round of the head, the density of the hair?
I'm basing it on a parietal, more or less the parietal. Everybody got that? Now I'm going to take a quick look. Always look. I don't have a mirror in front of me, but I do have a camera. But I'm going to take a look. Always step away. Always step away from I'm sorry, something just popped up. Always step away from your client, take a step back, look at the partings and see what it looks like to you, right? And then correct it. So right now, what I'm going to do is just clean this up a little bit so that you guys can see that when we section, clean lines. We want clean lines, okay? And you can use the corners of your eyebrows as your guide also. I went a little further in here, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that hair out and just get it in my section here. All right, I just want to make sure all my sectioning is clean. This is probably the only section you're going to have in this haircut, okay? Let's hold that there. Also, make sure your hair is wet, okay? If we're going to do a haircut from wet to dry, although I do like watching the hair form into its shape as it's drying, okay? So that will allow you to kind of see how the shape is forming, and then you could do some more detailing and fine tuning at the end of the haircut, okay? So we want to get the bulk of the haircut done for this particular haircut wet, okay? The wetter, the better. Very important, okay? So we want to establish the length in the front. So I'm going to move a little closer this way. Hold on a second. Everybody see that, okay? Side section.
Yes.
We're going to move this hair out of the way. We're taking a diagonal back. So right on the mannequins, you know, the ears are usually a little more forward, to closer to the face. So what we're going to do is take this angle here, trying to get this to form properly. Straight out, okay? So normally my positioning would be right in front of that section, chest to palm, okay? So now directly straight is going to give me a certain length. If I bring it forward a little bit, we're going to have a little extra length in the front. So that's what I want to do with this, all right? So here we go. Positioning, comb in hand. Let's do another comb there, okay? Straight out. So I would be chest to palm, right? I'm going to point cut. Point cutting is directly into that section with a slight angle, because I don't want this to be, I want it to look like he got a haircut 2 weeks ago. So I want it to have a little edge to it, okay? So now I'm going to drop back half-inch section to quarter-inch to a half-inch section, depending on the density of the hair. We're going to go back, diagonal back, okay? Comb all the hair out of your way. Once again, we're going to go now. We're not bringing that hair forward. We're bringing it directly straight to your chest, and you cut following the guide that you previously cut on the section prior, okay? Mm-hmm. Take another section back, quarter-inch to a half-inch. We're going to connect with that previous section, diagonal back, once again, palm to chest. And I'll show you this. Can you see that?
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
Fingers are parallel to your parting. Fingers are parallel to your parting, and your previous guide that you cut is traveling to the next section.
Correct. So I did the same thing with the traveling guide.
Yep.
I'm taking chest to palm. Once again, I'm going in, giving it a real cool edgy feel, dropping it. Now we're going to follow this head shape all the way to the center back, okay? So I'm just going to part that out of the way so you see what we're doing. And we're not going to worry about because once we get back here, there may be a little spot here that's a little longer, but we're going to take care of that when we take care of the top and when we connect the top to the back. Okay?
Great.
All right. So once again, I'm going to continue with the traveling guide. We're going to take another diagonal, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch section, connect to our previously cut section as our guide, and we're going to point cut. All right?
Why are you point cutting?
Point cutting. Why am I point cutting? Good question. If I decided to go straight across, it would give us a different look. It would give us more of a boxier look. I want this to be square and boxy, but I want it to be a little edgier. And when I say edgy, I want it to be soft. I want it to look like he didn't get a haircut today.
Yeah.
And you could go even deeper. I'll show you later. I could take these sections and do some deeper point cutting to really get a lot. It creates a lot of texture and almost that beachy kind of shaggy look.
Yeah.
Okay?
Definitely.
Did that answer the question, Will?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to continue, and we're going to do the same thing. We're following our guide straight out to the chest, and I'll show you that little technique now. This is part of a detailing technique. So I'm just finishing up this little spot right here, and let's say we go back, right? I don't want to jump ahead too much, but if you want a little more of a strong textured thing, we would go in a little deeper here, see? And you create, if you see it against my hand, you create deeper cuts and more texture.
For
It
sure.
just adds to the character of the haircut. This is what allows you as a stylist to customize your haircuts. Because honestly, you can do the same haircut on two people, different head shapes, correct? Different head shapes, different texture hair. You can do that same technique in the same section of hair, and the two haircuts is going to look different. You know why? Because you have different texture, density, shape of head. It's going to look different, but it's a similar haircut. The trend would still be a shaggy haircut. Cool? Awesome. All right, I'm going to finish this whole section here. Let's go back. Beautiful. We're going to get this whole section done. And I'm going to show you the little spot that's going to hang down that we're going to take care of later. Because, you know, we don't mind that it's going to start looking a little mullety back here.
Yeah.
But that's going to give us a chance to tailor it at the end. If you want to keep it as to have that mullety feeling, if nobody knows what a mullet is, it's long hair in the back, short on the sides, a little croppy on top. So this is, we're going to leave it just that. And right here, it's still kind of long. So we're going to play with that later. We'll fine tune it, okay? So now what I'm going to do, let's see if I have one more section here. Hold on. Let's bring this out. Yep, there was a little bit. All right, let's bring that out. Let's section this away. All right, and we're going to start on this side of the face. This side of the head, sorry. All right. Now, I want to just, this is how I'm going to adjust where I want my length. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here on both sides. Cool. And that's how I measure. I took those I took these 2 points right here at the temples, these pieces, and I just, not a lot of tension. You just feel where your hands stop. It's a little longer there. So I have some room to cut, right? Again, let's wet the hair. There's some cool little techniques coming up that are so fun to do when you're doing these shags on the guys. You can do them on shags, longer shags, when you're doing a woman's haircut. So again, I'm going to bring this forward in this side because that's what we did with the other one. Straight. Now my palm is facing down. You see that, right? My positioning is chest to palm right here, okay? And we're going to bring this a little forward because I want a little more length here, okay? So we're going to cut some of this. Just follow your fingers as your guide. Don't cut too far in, all right? Just want to comb that again and check my section. Okay, great. Now, we're going to take another slice, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, comb it into the first section that we cut, and you're going to bring it directly to your chest. We're not over directing, okay? We're just taking the hair that's above the guide and removing it, okay? So one more section, diagonal back, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, depending on the density and the thickness of hair. The density and the texture of hair. I'm going to take another section here because this was a little longer here. Let's do it like this. I went back. Sometimes you have to go back and comb. Don't be afraid to do that. Just follow your guide, okay? We're going to go back again. Let me turn this a little bit. Again. Palm facing you, fingers down this time. And we're point cutting. All right? Now, we're just getting to that section in the back where both sections meet. Okay? Are there any questions, Will?
A lot of the ones that were coming through, we've answered. You answered, so I'm just kind of answering them as they come instead of.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to meet the section in the back here. And once again, we're combing back, taking the hair that's past the guide. And we're cutting, okay? So let's take a second here and look at what we got. Now again, there's going to be some length here, but we're going to take care of that in a second, all right? So as you can see, we have some nice shape here, all right? There's Post Malone. All right, we got some nice shape happening here.
Nice.
Now, this is what I like to do. This is what I'm talking about when we get into having some fun with these techniques, all right? I'm going to separate and section from behind the ear forward, okay? Like that, both sides. If anybody's doing this while we're cutting, this is what you would do. You're doing it in real time with me. God bless you guys. Okay, and then for the back here, we're going to make sure we're center. Okay, we're going to separate and part these two sections and then clip this one. Now I want to show you something. This is a little bit of an advanced technique for some kids that are in school there, but I want to show you something cool. I like to take this whole section, let's wet it, and this could be done using a razor. If you're advanced and want to use a razor, this whole haircut can be done with a razor and you get a different vibe from it, but it'll still be in the shag trend, okay? So we're going to take this whole section. Now, with this you can have a little fun, okay? You give it a tight, you could go center, you could take it and go down low, right? But what we're gonna do is create some more texture. And this is not a technique, and I'm twisting towards the ear, okay? I'm taking that little bit of hair right here, and you'll feel it. You'll feel where the knot kind of stops. And right where your fingers meet, okay? We're gonna go like this. I'm gonna open your blade a little bit. You're gonna go in here and you're gonna open and close so minutely, okay? And this is gonna create a whole different kind of vibe here, okay?
Nice.
All right, everybody saw that. Okay, we're gonna take the other section of the back, the left side of the head, that's where I am. Take it, let's wet it down a little bit more, okay? It's always good to be wet. Can't do this dry because the client will feel it dragging, will feel, even if you have a super sharp scissor, when the hair is dry and you start to drag like that, it just doesn't feel great for the client, okay? So remember that. It's all about a good experience, right? Okay, so not a good experience, a great experience. So we're gonna do twist towards the face, okay? Do it until you can't anymore. And again, I put my comb in my hand right there, and you're going to open and close so ever gently, and you can pull out a little bit. This way you can get a little more texture, okay? Let's look at that. This guy's got some cool hair right now. Post Malone is going into the rock and roll genre now, okay?
Out with the rap, in with the rock.
That's right. Out with the rap, in with the rock. Okay, so that was good, Will. I like that. Same thing with the front. What we're going to do here is twist back, okay? And why are we twisting back? Because I feel like the length here, we don't want to cut too much of it. I think if you think about it, if you twist this way, you're going to cut most of the length here, most of the hair here will be caught underneath and end up being in front of your twist. So if you twist back, most of it will be in back of most of the hair back here is in front. So we don't want to cut any more length. We're just creating texture, right? So now I twisted it back kind of in the shape of the hairline. You see that? And we're doing the same technique. Just taking a little bit off, right? Now we'll comb that out. And I want you guys to look at this, okay? You look at all this texture, okay? And now, look at this section here. I want to connect these two. So how am I going to do this? We already connected as we did our diagonals. So this is just adding more texture, taking out some weight, and making this look so natural, okay? So we're going to look at right behind the ear and connecting that back spot, right? So it's like an upside down what? Triangle. And this we're going to go back also, okay? Just to create a little more texture and just connecting. And again, you're just blending these two. So we just married this whole section here, okay? All married. They're happy together. Beautiful. Now, same with this side. We're going to spray it down, wet it some more.
Tommy, I practiced that technique in the beginning before I was comfortable using a shear with a 15-tooth texturizer.
Yeah. And you could,
because you only have that, you have that one tooth at the very tip. So I could just practice controlling the shear that way until I got used to doing it with a scissor. Just
right. Because this, I mean, I have to tell you folks, first time I saw somebody do this years ago, I was like, oh man, I got to go home and do this. And I took a chunk out of my finger because I thought I was Mr. Badass. I took a nice V deep into my hand, and it didn't heal for like 2 weeks. I mean, it was bad. So definitely be careful. And Will, that was definitely some good advice on how to maybe get into it without messing yourself up, you know? All right, so I did the back section. Now we're going to go to this front section. Again, we don't want to twist. We want to twist back, correct. Tommy was almost losing it there. All right, we want to twist back. We don't want to take any more length off that front piece, but let's go and do this. Bring it low because we want to keep length. We just want to do some texturizing here. All right. And you know, part of this technique, if you're doing this, it's like I almost rest the stationary blade on my finger. So check this out. I'm holding, right? I'm going in. The stationary blade is right there on my finger. You see that? And I just go down.
Good stuff.
And you will never cut your finger that way. If you're holding it like this and you're going straight, that's what I did. So now, after years of doing it, I've learned, don't. Make sure you rest your blade, the stationary blade on your finger. Okay, so I'm marrying these two areas, the back to the front. I took a section right at the back of the ear, or sometimes at the top of the ear. Usually the ears are back here for a human being, but we're going to go and twist this, and we're just marrying these two sections to make it look super connected, all right? Again, going in, resting my finger. You can see that. Not worried I'm going to cut myself. All right, let's shake that out. Just going to check my haircut right now. We'll do all the detailing in a minute. All right, this looks good. Now we're going to hit the top, okay? Now for guys, some guys want that fringe really long, like a Johnny Depp, or when Brad Pitt has these kind of haircuts. You can name a ton of people in the rocker world or celebrity world that have these kind of things. So here we go. We're going to wet, once again, spray. It should be wet. And we're going to take a section here.
Tommy.
Yes.
Can you lower post a little bit? Because when you comb up at that height, we're not gonna see your finger position.
You got it.
Please. Thank you.
No problem. Post is going down. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
I got to come up with some like mannequin, like we got a business right here.
You did it, not me.
We can do this. Come on, let's do it.
Maybe we can call up Pivot. Maybe we can call up Pivot Point and get them to do some head shapes based off of other people.
That's pretty brilliant. I like that. You'd be like, how am I going to cut this round face? Like what kind of shape would you cut this? It's like a pretty interesting way of. All right. So as you can see, like even with just the mannequin and this like weird face, he kind of looks. He looks like he's going to get on a surfboard or he's going to sing tonight in a rock and roll concert. I mean, that looks kind of cool. So I can't wait for you guys to see the actual color that's in here. It's a fireball red. And what's great about this, it lasts about 15 shampoos, but you could keep, this is a process that, you send somebody home with some of this conditioner and they can do it whenever they want. It starts to fade. This will fade into like a rosy gold pink, so, and as it's fading out, like it looks cool, especially for this kind of guest, right? So we brought down his fringe, and basically what I did, I went from temple to temple. I just went straight across, okay? And I'm bringing this down. This whole section down, okay? And this is This is to taste or to where you think it's going to look best on this client. Okay, so I'm still going to point cut. I'm going to go in and point cut. Now I could go deep in here because I want it to look a little edgy and fun. And I'm just pulling this forward a little bit. Sorry, I'm pulling his face off too. And just connecting a little bit. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want it to look perfect. Okay, I'm going to come over to this side so you can see. No, that's not going to work. This is the best side for me. Sorry about that, guys. I'm making everybody dizzy. And we're just going to follow this line here and connect. Okay. See that?
Yep.
All right. Now, I'm going to use this here as my guide for the top. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Very simple. Everybody can see that, right?
Yes.
Good.
Jennifer, if you have a question, could you put it in the chat? I think maybe your hand is accidentally raised, but just in case. Thank you.
Okay, taking this section, took about a 1-inch section right down the center, okay? We're taking the front fringe area, bringing it straight up. Now, what I want to create, I know the fringe area is shorter. I want to create some really cool layery effect here. So I'm going to cut, see how my hands are angled? I'm going to cut from short here in the front to long in the back. All right, so let me do this first section, long to short. I'm sorry, short to long. And again, point cutting, short to long. Take your section up, drop, short to long. All right? And then we can level this all out back here. And now I'm going to stay on this side, part the hair again, take another section in front of that section. So I just basically what I did, moved over, okay? I moved over and connected this to the hair that was just cut. I'm going to use that as my guide, okay? And I'm going to cut that. Point cut. You can see all the hair there that needs to be cut. I'm going to point cut that straight up. All right? This is going to shag him out. And this could be a short, again, this is to taste. This is customizing. You can customize this, all right? Now we're going to take a center part again. We're going to bring this hair straight up. And we're going to take this guide, sorry about that, and cut all that extra hair off there. All right?
Looking good.
Looking good, man. Rock and roll. Okay.
I got to say, this makes me think Keanu Reeves in Point Break for whatever reason.
Dude, this is it. This is it. This is what I'm talking about. This is, you know, those kind of haircuts are, you know, they're back and they've been around. It's just, you know, it's sometimes you'll see them a little shorter or a little cleaner because sometimes the guys will have their hair a little longer and they're using a different product to either maybe slick it down or blow dry it, you know, so they're wearing it in different lengths and different styles, but the foundation haircut is something in this realm, you know.
Yeah.
So
I cut a lot of these haircuts in the salon I was in West Hartford because a lot of hockey players.
Yes.
And this may not be a haircut in your area depending on where you are, but I promise you this is something that is great to have in your toolbox, because with very little alteration, you can use it on quote unquote a men's haircut, quote unquote a women's haircut, but
Sure.
this is out there.
Yes, definitely. And again, I just did I was at a really cool the last Behind the Chair show in New York City, and I watched Sally Hirschberger do a men's haircut. Man, blew me away. I mean, you go see these iconic people and you're like, damn, that's why they're so good. It's like, and I left there learning something. You go to anything you watch, people, anybody that's been in the business for 20, 30 years, or if you've been in the business for 20 minutes, you're going to learn something.
Yep.
And you take that technique, you put it in your toolbox, you're going to use it one day. Okay? Just keep that in mind. It's very important. Okay? So right now I'm just finishing this side. As you can see, now my body position would be, if I was doing this in the salon, I would be chest
square
and square to my section, because this is going to be the most level, square, precise sectioning and cutting you will be able to accomplish. All right. But for this situation, I want you guys to see where I'm grabbing the hair.
Perfect.
All right. I'm pulling this up. We're going to take this whole section up. I think my kids want to say hello, but they didn't.
No one should take this too serious, because on one of these, my 3-year-old daughter has popped in, and I'm sure with the rest of the month already lined up and a couple weeks in May, she's going to make a visit at some point.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Hey, listen, that's what makes it real,
And we are real. I do take pride in the fact that it's just authentic.
So now, what I'm going to do, I'm facing the client. Okay, I'm going to put the back of the head. I'm bringing up that section that may have been a little long, and I'm just going to go and deep cut it a little bit. The connection here, I want a little disconnection around. Okay, I'm going around here. Just bring it straight up. If I see any hairs,
do me a favor. Drop that down before you cut it, because we can't see. You're out of the screen.
Sorry.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Let's drop this down. Might be a little long in here. So what I'm doing is just grabbing that section. I'm just grabbing a little bit of that hair. All right. And I'm using my mirror. So let's say you're in front of your mirror, and I'm just taking this hair and taking some of these little longer sections out, cleaning up the corners. I'm coming forward. Now I'm going to check that my lines up here are straight. And this is how I do it, okay? You'll probably see other people cutting this differently.
That's what's great about our industry, though. I mean, There's multiple ways to get to the same end result. It's a matter of figuring out what's best for you, efficiency-wise,
exactly,
wise, timing-wise, and then you can do what's best for you.
So now what I'm doing is taking the whole fringe area here, and I'm going to look at, we call this, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, the apex.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot.
Okay, I think it's
parietal. The apex is the highest point of the head, so it could be a little different for everybody.
All right, so what's the fringe area? Just the fringe area?
For me, it's generally because I have a receding hairline. It's generally a widow's peak, but I take it's different for everyone. I consider the fringe area like one inch line or so around the perimeter there. And
that's what we're going to do right here. So we just cut the apex. That was fine. Yeah. We're going to go into the fringe area here, and right like again, probably where I did the highlighting, which you'll see later on, I'm going to take a section here, right in the center, all right? And I want to deep cut a little bit. Deep channel cutting or deep point
spin
cutting.
post around so we can see your scissor position. Please.
Yes.
That was demanding.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No problem. I need that guidance, my friend. All right, so we're taking that section, right? Center section. Maybe like, we're not going straight out. We're bringing it up about on probably like on the 45. I'm not really good with degrees and angles, but you can see it's coming the shape of the head, straight up from the shape of the head. Let's do that, okay? So the curvature here in the fringe area, you're not bringing it down, you're not bringing it back, you're bringing it straight up. And what you're doing is going in, can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going in, and you'll feel the tip of the scissor or the shear. All of a sudden, it feels like you were cutting through some heavy hair, and then all of a sudden it lightens up. But you want to go through it like this. You don't want to do, I'm trying to just get some really cool texture in there, okay? Then I'm going to take a section next to it, closer to me, and just do the same thing. And you see the little bit of hair that's right there? We want to get rid of that. We want to just go in, round this out a little bit and soften it up, make it so the fringe looks like it was cut months ago. We don't want it to look like a fresh cut, you know? Now I'm taking this corner here to the center, okay? To the center of that guide. So it's a stationary guide and I'm bringing the hair to it. Everybody understand that, okay? Okay. So what I'm doing is taking a section. I would be standing on this side of the client here, but I don't want to do that because I want you guys to see my position here. Okay, so we're bringing this straight up off the top of the head. We're going in. You can see that, right?
Yes.
And we're taking this section to the center of the head, to the center guide, to the stationary guide. A stationary guide is, once you establish this as our guide, we're bringing all the hair to it. This being called the stationary guide. Okay, guys? And one more section. And then I'm just going to do a quick detailing, and I'll show you what I like to do with my detailing. And you can see how the shape is starting to form here. Right?
Yes.
It's good shape.
Tommy, forgive me because we have several people asking like the name of this haircut, and I'm horrible. I don't give haircuts names. You know what I mean? Like it's just a surfer, grungy.
I would say the rocker shag, shag haircut. You could put your name in front of the word shag, but I like to call it rocker because, like in the beginning of this webinar, I base everything on. I get inspired by rock and roll. That I grew up on it, so anything from the Foo Fighters to back in the day. I'm a little vintage. So Led Zeppelin, any of those, Rolling Stones, Joan Jett, one of my favorite haircuts. And you'll see that, if you guys follow me on Instagram or if you decide to, my next bunch of haircuts are going to be all female shags, modern shags, old school shag, fringe shags. We're going to go crazy into shags. So I call it the rocker shag. All right. I'm going to just detail some things in the back here. Like, look at how the texture happened back here. Okay, it's still a little wet, but you can kind of see like what it's doing, right? It's just so cool. And now if you wanted to bring this little section up, you can. Let's say, let me bring him up a little bit, and I'll show you how to do this real quick. Because we don't want this like perimeter line here to be so perfect. I mean, we don't want it to be off balance like this, but we want it to kind of have these peaks and valleys, you know, like these cool kind of like where you see light come through. You know what I'm saying? So like if we could take a client and do this to them, right? You could kind of see like the peaks and valleys, you know? This is what we're talking about, little peaks and valleys.
Also, if you get rid of that perimeter back there, you're going to move it really quickly into what looks like a bob haircut.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. So if you just look at where something might look a little too heavy, I usually go in, this is just something that I do. I'll take a little twist and slice, just where I need to do it. This is the way I detail. If I see something a little too out of the ordinary, put my hand under you know, the blade and go in and take these little straggly hairs out if you want. If you want to make this a little more croppy, you can go in and, again, this is just me. You can make it much more of a rocker haircut by just a little bit of detailing. Going into the front here, taking some sections and just going into it and taking some pieces out. You know, these little guys that you just cut will have, you know, a front seat. People will see those as like, wow, that could be the little thing that you do that makes a difference in the haircut because of the texture. The hair will sit different. I think we just made Post Malone really cool looking.
Someone said you made Post Malone look like Keith Urban, which isn't untrue. Keith Urban's was a little more round, but true statement.
Yeah, you're right. But thanks, though. I mean, listen, Keith Urban's cool. You know, listen. If we can transform celebrity, you know, mannequins into other celebrities, that's a pretty cool segment to do.
I agree. I have nothing against Keith Urban. Tommy, forgive me here. What's your Instagram page again?
My Instagram is Tommy Cole, Cole, hair.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So, Will, I think for the most part, we are done with the cut. I really, really am happy with the cut.
Looks great.
And I want to finish and detail. I want to dry this a little bit so we could take a nice picture for everyone to see on shark fin.
Sure, that'd be great. Send it over to me and we'll post it. That's Tommy, Tommy Cole, hair. So Tommy Cole hair.
Yep. And it was a pleasure, man. It was so cool to do this. I hope everybody got something out of this. And if there are any questions, Will, man, send them my way, even afterwards.
Will do.
And anybody's allowed to get on my Instagram and DM me if you have questions about anything, any color questions, cutting questions. If there are students out there and need to pick out a shear or something, you can contact me or Will or Sharkfin. We can help you out with all those things. All right, guys? For sure, man.
I appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on again. We'll see
Definitely,
how this goes. I can't believe that we're only like, 45 minutes or so away from each other. I didn't know that, so I learned something. Yeah, man.
We got to hang out, bro.
Let's do it.
After this whole pandemic. Hey, listen, everyone, be healthy, stay safe, wear a mask and gloves until we don't have to. Love you guys. Thank you.
Take care, man. Later.
Later.